Good afternoon. Today we will be discussing a poem written by Imtiaz Dharkar. And she's a female Indian poet, and she wrote a poem, Parda First. And we all know, if we literally translate the word Parda, which is a Hindi Urdu word, into English, it would mean a veil, which is often used by the females in Indian subcontinent to cover their faces. In Hindu tradition, the veil was earlier used. Now the veil system has almost been eradicated, but it continues to persist in Muslim traditions in the subcontinent, where the females still cover their faces. The poem Parda First is about the lives of the Muslim women. Imtiaz Dharkar herself is Muslim. They are after a certain age told to put a parda, that is veil, and after attaining a certain age, Muslim women are asked, or we can say forced in some way, to wear a veil or parda. And they are told usually by their mothers or aunts or the women of their houses or households. The poet has chosen one representative Muslim woman, and that representative Muslim woman is the narrator in the poem. The narrator is ambiguous, no name has been given to her in the poem. While the poem progresses through that narrator, she is made to feel ashamed of her womanhood. Who? The narrator. The awareness of being ashamed comes naturally to a woman. When a girl reaches the age of puberty, she finds people staring, ogling at her. And that is why a woman assumes a sense of shame about herself, her own body. So it is quite natural for a Muslim woman girl to accept the Islamic injunction of wearing a burqa or a niqab. As we move ahead, the poetess says, people who support wearing of a burqa say that it is a kind of safety device. Burqa-clad woman is akin to a dead body covered in a shroud. And this is a metaphorical reference which Imtiaz Dharkar uses in this particular poem. She considers a burqa-clad woman a shroud in which a dead body is laying on the ground. Women covered by a burqa feels like a corpse kept in a coffin. And she further dares and says that a woman covered by a burqa feels like a corpse kept in a coffin. And she further states that only Muslim women have to wear a burqa, not their Hindu counterparts. Now, after wearing a burqa, she looked different from the set of her Hindu friends. Now, the difference between them is evident and clear from their dressing. You can easily identify a Muslim woman from others because she is wearing a particular kind of cloth, particular kind of dress, and that dress or cloth is known as a burqa. She is singled out. She stands apart from others. In this case, the narrator feels that she is isolated. She has become a mystery that has to be solved. And after wearing a burqa, she has become mysterious. Burqa has aroused curiosity among onlookers. And Burqa arouses a sense of curiosity among the onlookers, might be males in this case, who want to identify the woman because they are unable to identify because she has covered herself so well that her identity is not known to them. They watch her from different angles with a slant eye and sly look. And now what happens? They are even more curious, so they watch her from different angles with a slant eye and a sly look. She also sees people differently after she wears the burqa. After she is wearing the burqa, she feels that not only she is looking different from others, but whom she sees are also looking different. She wasn't aware of the curiosity of men till she had not wore the burqa. She was unaware that men were so curious about women till she wore a burqa. There is a change in the perception of people, and there is also a change in her own perception of people as well. So, the change is now clear and it is evident. She feels the difference with and without burqa. So, this is a kind of thing which could be analyzed in psychology as a split personality. She is split it into two persons. She was a different person when she was not wearing a burqa, now completely altogether a different person after wearing a burqa. She feels herself to be someone else from her previous self. And she feels as if she is a different woman now. And her previous self was completely different from what she has become now. Women who do not wear burqa are not ashamed of themselves, while Muslim women who wear burqa are made aware of the sin. And now comes the concept of the sin. So not she is not directly addressing this word through her imagery, but she is introducing the word by chance and putting us to think what this significance is all about. Non-Muslim women wear all kinds of clothes ranging from skin tight to the transparent ones. So there is a variety of choice about clothing in non-Muslim women who could wear anything skin tight ones to transparent ones. So they have a wide range of choice. But a Muslim woman speaks from within the burqa and her voice echoes. And she says that a Muslim woman speaks from the confines of her dress. And the voice echoes because there is a veil and it produces a kind of echo. In her own words, we sit still, letting the cloth grow a little closer to our skin. She can only unveil the burqa when she is within the four walls of her room, that is, within her limits. So, it is not mandatory to wear burqa at home, and she can do away with it within the confines of her four walls, her own house. The burqa is preceding her, it moves inches ahead of her. She has no identity of her own. She is a scapegoat, a victim of the society. Her real identity is subordinated to her ethnic religious identity. As if she was a lump of mud that could be molded into any shape and had no identity of her own. In a patriarchal, male dominated society, she is trying to find a place for herself. She is trying to tag along with the males like a baby walks with his fingers in his father's hand. She has no control over her life and she has become an object of wonder and curiosity. There is no way out for her. No one is going to let her out of this rat hole. All the doors open inside and not outside. So she has penned this beautifully written poem and this poem is about a Muslim woman who is made to wear a parda or a veil. So we finish off this poem and we will continue discussing poetry in our forthcoming videos.